4 years ago, I was sitting in my college apartment about to go into my sophomore year of college, and now I've made millions of dollars online. I have my dream car and I pay $5,000 a month here in Miami for this apartment that I'm in. So the first thing that I've learned along this journey is that nobody gives a fuck about you, and that's a good thing. So when you're first starting out, you think that someone or something is going to come and save you. And for whatever reason, it's like this idea that's implanted into your head, like, oh, you know, something's gonna happen. I know I'm on a path right now that I don't want to be on, but you know, if I just meet the right person, or if I just watch the right YouTube video, or if I just comment on somebody's video, you know, somebody's just gonna take me under their wing and save me. And you have to realize that that's never gonna fucking happen. And you can spend eternity thinking that some life-altering event is going to occur. But until you understand that that doesn't happen, and that it's never gonna happen, you will not make progress. It is completely up to you to change your own life. And if you can't fully put the weight of your life on your shoulders, then you're gonna give all of your power to everybody else. You're gonna give all of your power to the school system and the 9 to 5. Like, you're gonna be constantly told what to do. That's how this whole thing works. Is like, oh, they want to control you, blah, blah, blah. Well, obviously everybody wants to control you because there needs to be worker bees. And if you don't break out of this on your own, nobody's going to break you free of it. And so this goes a bit further as well when you start to realize that you need to create your own structure in life. You need to have your own habits, your own routine, and that all of the rules that everybody has set up for you to follow are pretty much arbitrary. You have the option, the decision, whether you are going to follow them or not. And it's a lot easier to just go and follow them. That might not lead to a successful life of the way that you want to live, but it's an easier route than the alternative, which is doing so on your own and understanding that your life is dependent on you. It's like when you hear a man complain about their wife. They're like, oh, you know, I want to do this, I want to do that, but my wife, she just doesn't let me. You know, it's the old ball and chain. I got to get approval from her. Oh, I wanted to travel. Oh, I wanted to start a business, but the wife didn't let me. You see how fucking powerless and how bitch-made that is? Like, you're an absolute pussy if you adopt this mindset, but that's the majority of the people that you see. It's like they've given their power away to some external source. It could be the wife, it could be the government, it could be the boss, and they're like, oh, I'm unhappy, my life sucks because of this external thing. That is a loser mindset. And so when I say nobody gives a fuck about you and that's a good thing, this should be a very freeing realization. It should be freeing to understand that, like, hey, I can fucking crash out, bro. I can drop out of college, I can go and start a business, I can go and start posting on social media just because I fucking want to, and everybody else will think I'm crazy and will be like, wow, that's super cringe, and people will make fun of you, and you're gonna hear that noise, you're gonna be like, maybe I am doing the wrong thing, maybe I am following the wrong path, but there's that feeling in your gut that knows that you're doing the right thing, even if it is cringe, and it will be at first. When you first start making videos, you're gonna look like an idiot. You're gonna stumble over your words a dozen times before you finally get a good video. If you're trying to start a business, you're gonna get dozens and dozens of no's before you get a yes. If you're trying to get a girlfriend, go on dates, you're gonna look like an idiot in front of a bunch of girls, and eventually you're gonna get the hang of it. And that's how everything works in life. You can't be afraid of what other people are gonna think about you because they're not really thinking about you that much anyway. They've got their own life, you've got your own life. Like, think about how much you actually think about other people. Or when you're out in public, are you like looking around like, oh, that guy just sneezed really awkwardly. Oh, that guy just said something really cringe. Like, not really. And when you see somebody that posts something on social media that might be cringe, you think about it for 30 seconds and then you forget it. But then you keep scrolling and you see some titties and ass and you forget that you ever saw the cringe video. Lesson number 2, everything works if you work. Oh, what's the best business model? Oh, I should try copywriting or drop shipping or wholesale real estate or TikTok shop. All of it fucking works. There are rich people in all of those industries. There are rich traders, there are rich plumbers, there are rich SMMA guys. Like, everything works if you work. If you can actually commit to something for longer than 17 days until you get to the point where, like, it gets kind of difficult. You know, when I first started out, I spent so much time jumping from one business model to the next. I was like, oh, I'm gonna start a videography business, and then I was gonna do e-com, and then I was gonna start a different type of agency, and then I was gonna do SMMA, and I couldn't pick my niche, and I probably spent a year bouncing from business model to business model, just going through this whole shiny object syndrome, once again thinking that I was gonna be able to negate the whole learning process by finding some hacks, some systems, some blueprint that would carry me there faster. But that doesn't happen. And once I committed to one thing and I stopped having this shiny object syndrome where I look at all of these other opportunities and think, oh, that one might be better, that's when I actually found success, because that's when you can commit to something fully. And secret of the universe, if you actually put your all into literally anything, it will work out. That's how you create a plan B. Like, think about if you're at a job and you work really hard in your career and you go above and beyond and you progress as much as you can, and then something happens in that industry and your job falls apart. But somebody else who you are working with sees how hard of a worker you are and sees how you put all of your effort and attention and energy into that job, and they're like, hey, I'm starting my own thing, why don't you come work for me? And then you're making 5 times the money that you were making. That's how you create a plan B, is by maximizing plan A. And I see this time and time again. Like, I talk to a lot of very successful entrepreneurs, guys who have made 5, 10, 20 times the amount of money I've made. And every time I notice that these people are no smarter than me. It's very rare to run into somebody that you're like, wow, that guy's a fucking wizard. Most of the time you're just like, oh, he's stuck to one thing for a very long time, and the opportunity met the fact that he was in a good vehicle, and then everything, the stars kind of just align when you stay in one thing for a long time. And you don't have to be wicked smart, you don't have to be a fucking wizard, you can just work more consistently than most people, and you will go a lot further. Like, I know plenty of people who've gotten stuck at $10,000 a month or 20 grand a month or 30 grand a month for years, like literally years. They can't get past this income threshold. And it's because they think that they're so smart that they're gonna like find a new opportunity. They'll get to 10, 20, 30K a month in one vehicle, and then they're like, wait, I can get to 100K a month in a different vehicle. So they'll just stay in this range where they go from 0 to 20, 0 to 30, and then they go back down to 0, and then the same thing over and over and over. Lesson number 3, if your friends don't make you feel insecure, you need better friends. And I mean this in the best way possible. I love the kids that I've grown up with, that I went to high school with, that I went to college with. But being a big fish in a small pond will limit your growth exponentially. Like, you will never be able to reach your full potential if you're constantly the smartest or the richest person in the room. You can think about it like the gym. You know, if you go to the gym with somebody who's about the same size as you, and let's say you guys start working out together and you're doing a bench press, and again, they're about the same size as you, so you'd expect yourself to be able to lift as much as they would, but they throw up 250 on the bench, and you're like, wait, I thought my own max was 185. So then you try 215 and you get it. And so it wasn't exposed to you that you were limiting yourself until you saw somebody who is very similar to you do more than you. And then you have this like weird internal realization that you were settling. You're like, oh wait, I've had this potential the entire time. I've just been putting this imaginary ceiling on myself, and you know, now that I'm around other people who have exposed that to me, I understand that I can progress further. It goes the same way in business. When you meet people who are making 5 times the money as you, except you feel like they're an idiot, that's a good thing. You're like, oh shit, I'm on the right track here, and it's good to feel small. 2 years ago, I moved to Miami, and immediately once I got here, I saw this. It was like, wow, all of these kids are making so much money, and I feel poor. And I started to feel insecure about that. And what that did is it gave me motivation to continue to make more money and actualize the potential that I really had. Whereas, let's say I stayed in my college town. I went to College of Charleston in South Carolina, and it was a great city. I had a lot of fun, and I had a lot of great friends there. But if I would have stayed there, I would have been the richest guy of pretty much anybody that I know. I could have run the city off of 10, 15, maybe 20 grand a month, and I'm the fucking king of the city. That is not a good thing, because I would immediately be selling myself short. I would have never realized that, oh wait, the same version of me who is capable of getting to 20K a month is the same version of me who can get to 100, 150K a month. Lesson number 4, when it gets difficult, you know that you're close. Anytime I felt like what I was doing, I was putting in so much work, but I wasn't getting anything out of it immediately, that lingered in the back of my mind. That like, okay, if I could just keep grinding, if I can just get through this phase, the opposite can occur. Because I really feel like I'm putting in all of this work and all of this unrewarded effort, I know that eventually there is something on the other side of it. But what happens for most people is they reach that point where it gets really difficult and they kind of hit this wall. And you have that's where you have to make the decision. Am I gonna be able to keep going and push past this resistance? Or will I go and revert back to the way I was and go look for a new shiny object so I can blame my incompetence or lack of discipline on the business model, on the mechanism? You can do this forever. But if you can be one of few people who is actually able to continue to bet on themselves in those times and continue to have this just mental strength in knowing that, oh shit, like this is really difficult right now, but that means I'm on the right track. Because if you never started, it would never be difficult. You never hit any real roadblocks and it would never feel like you're a bit in over your head because you would never actually be challenging yourself. Once you start to challenge yourself is when you can start to grow, and then that's when you plant those seeds for the equivalent success to be possible. Lesson number 5, your skill set gives you the backup plan that a college degree was supposed to. So everybody thinks like, oh, college is the safe route. But the problem there is if you go to college and then you get a normal 9 to 5, you are at the will of whoever employs you. So if they wake up one day and shit's hitting the fan in their business and we're like, oh, we gotta lay some people off, you know, you have no backup plan because you are not a valuable piece to that business. You are easily replaceable. On the contrary, let's say that you learn a bunch of skills. You learn copywriting, you learn sales, you learn marketing, you learn how to build funnels, and you're working with a client or you have your own business and you know how to do pretty much everything. But then one day shit goes awry and your business falls apart. Your client leaves or something happens. You're still you and you're still valuable because you have those skills that you've accumulated in that process. So you can go and spin up a whole new business and be back on your feet pretty much overnight. You can't do that if you don't have any real hard skills. And this has been one of the more freeing things that I've done is building that skill set, because it gives me this security. When I close my eyes at night and I go to bed, I sleep like a fucking baby because I know that everything could go south, but I have my own personal brand, I have my skill set, I have my network. And with those 3 things, I can never go broke because I will always be able to find opportunities. I will always be able to make money because it has become a part of me. I recently wrote a tweet that said, you're only free once you know that you could lose it all and get it all back. And that is the true feeling of autonomy. It's like, imagine you're dating a girl who you think is like the best that you could ever do. So you become super clingy, you become super reliant on her, and you just want to make sure that she doesn't leave you. So you become like this beta version of yourself who is basically living in scarcity. You're like, I have the most precious resource I could ever get, and if it's gone, I will never be able to do any better, so I need to make sure I keep it. The way that you act in that situation, in that relationship for this example, is going to be the very thing that actually pushes her away. And business is the same way. If you feel like you need to close a deal and it's going to be the best deal that you ever get, then you are going to sound desperate. And desperation rarely leads to a good result. In the dating example, if you know that you're that fucking guy and if this relationship goes south, you've still got you're still the person that you were before, and you're somebody who is desirable to other people and you don't really need any other people at the end of the day, then you're going to approach that relationship from an abundance perspective. And that's going to make you better in the relationship. That's going to make you a better person. You're not going to be so reliant on someone else or external circumstances for you to feel secure. And becoming somebody who is competent and who is capable is the way that you have to do this. Anyway, I'm tired of talking, you're tired of listening, but if you want to learn more from me, if you want to get inside of my circle and learn some of the skills that I've learned that I feel like have made me a valuable piece to any info product business, and exactly how I've made my money being able to work with some of the biggest personal brands online, I have a coaching program that you can check out in the description. It's called the Artisan Lab. I don't really care if you join or don't, but just check it out if you liked this video and you want to learn more from me. I also have a free newsletter in there where I write banger emails, so the best emails you're ever gonna read. So you should subscribe to that as well. Anyway, love you, thanks for watching, share this with your grandma, peace.